I wish you could be on the live with me.
Ooh,
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Hey, let's talk about it.
what do you think?
All right, so I'm live, guys. This is Antoine from Antoine Chambers Consulting, and we about to talk about it. Some of you may not have any idea about what I'm about to talk about, or have even heard of it, because honestly, it's not something that I had heard of until just recently. So when you join in, let me know that you're gonna hang out so I can talk to you, so that I can know who's in the building. Yo, today is a great day. Today is Wednesday, I believe. Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, and some of us are getting over the hump. Some of us are just having a really great day, and and life is great. But again, if you're gonna, man, I am having all kinds of issues. Man, this one's gonna be really good because the camera is doing its own thing. Okay, boom. I think we're good. All right, so data dating. All right, anywho, let me know if you're gonna be here. So recently I heard a statement that really made me start to think, and I'm gonna adjust here, to think as it relates to dating. I was sent a video um, that was related to dating. I listened to some of it, I heard some of it, and the person speaking was taking a kind of a biblical text, but they were talking about dating, and they were talking about, I forgot the name of the title, or I forgot the title of it, but if I remember, I'll share it. Dating in the 21st century, dating in 2020. I don't know if dating is really happening in 2020 with the whole corona, but if you are dating, or if you have dated in 2020, feel free to be like, "Yo, I'm dating. I'm experiencing life in the dating world of 2020." If not, just comment something else. Anyway, so data dating. So there was a statement that was made where the guy was talking about how in the dating phase, it's literally that you're getting data. You're getting data to make a good decision on if this person that you're dating is the right person for the long haul. And he mentioned about how in the data dating, or the data part of this dating, you are making a decision that is based on a lot of factors. Like, can I deal with this person, this energy for the rest of my life? And the fact is, the rest of your life is an extremely long time. Low key, when I think about the rest of my life, I'm like, yo, like, that's a lot of days. That's a lot of minutes. It's a lot of hours. It's a lot. Like, your life and the commitment to someone for the rest of your life is interesting, because many of us can't could be committed to fasting. Many of us can't be committed to praying. Some of us can't be committed to working out. But when it comes to marriage, the goal is to be committed for the rest of your life. And again, if you're going to hang out, let me know that you're here, comment, so that I know that you are in the building. So with this data part, you're trying to, in finding data and getting data is really interesting, because for me, I've never been a person in the dating realm that was like, yo, let me simply find information. Let me ask a bunch of questions just for the sake of having these answers, or having this checklist. Because having a checklist can get annoying, especially for me. Like, I ain't gonna remember. Like, if I ask you 21 questions, I am not going to remember most of the responses unless I take a list of your questions. Monica says, well, people don't date anymore. That's what I'm trying to find out. If you're dating, let me know. Or if you're married and it's been a long time since you've dated, drop your current situation. I'm either single, I'm dating, I'm married, I am still getting over hurt, whatever it is. Drop that in the comments so I can know who I'm talking to. But yeah, so in this data place, it's like, well, you want to have information about this person, but the information about them today could change over time. So, what information are you getting that can signify that this person is a good long term commitment? Like I said, sometimes we can't commit to the simple things. So, to be able to commit to a lifetime with somebody forces us to reconsider our outlook on even dating. And for many of us, we've dated for years or dated in situations, and it's been like just a waste of time. I know I've been in that place where the dating has just been a waste of time. It's like, yo, like I just wasted 6 months of my life for no reason at all. Or at least in my mind, there was no reason. Uh Monica says single, but most people just want situations and nothing real. I quit. She done turned in her 2 week notice on dating. Uh okay, so here we go. The dating, I think dating can be challenging because for me, I can be an overthinker. So when you go into dating with the overthinker mentality or the overthinking, it makes it more difficult because there's a lot of reasons you can be overthinking, but when you go into it with that mentality, everything is like becomes like this battle of like what's happening. And that's why like I feel like sometimes when people become better communicators, even in the dating stage, you end up like not having to overthink because it's like, hey, I'm going to communicate with you from a transparent place. If you choose to communicate from that place, too, awesome. If not, hey, I understand. But we have to understand our value so much that when we get into a dating situation, we we don't let the situation become who we are. Because when we allow any situation to become who we are, we end up losing ourselves. We end up having more questions than answers. We end up just in a crazy situation. So, data dating. So, as I said, with data dating or dating in general, it's a matter of getting information, but not just for information to be like, well, am I going to Netflix and chill with this person? Or am I going to do this? It's like we try to qualify people like we are doing qualifications for a loan. Sometimes we go into dating like, okay, well, I'm gonna go further on this based on, all right, what was your last your why did this last car get repoed? Why did this la 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 la? We go down this list of things, and when that list of things comes out, we end up giving we I think we end up honestly giving people credit scores. I I think in dating we give people credit scores. Mr. Hollins over here said we really do. Like can you admit to yourself now that when you were dating, whether you're married or if you're dating, that based on something someone said, you started to determine their credit score, or can maybe we call it their dating score? So if a person could rank from 350 to 800 on dating, do you think that when you dated somebody and you found out that they weren't great with finances, did you lower their score? When you found out that they, whatever it is, whatever your thing is, do you think that you actually lowered people's score? Mr. Holland said they do. And I think we're all guilty of that. But I think when we admit that we even when I'm on live right now. even even when we I totally got distracted. Yeah. So the data scores. So I think what we have to do sometimes is we have to say deal deal did deal breaker at 40. So yeah, so I think what we have to do when we're in a dating situation is one, we have to trust God that whatever he allows, he allows. But at the same time, we can't put ourselves in positions to where we choose to go so far based on emotion and hurts of the past that we can't give the future an opportunity. Like, I think for homes and even loans and stuff, they have these second chance possibilities. Hey, you can get a second chance credit card, you can get a second chance loan, you can get a second chance home. Are you willing to give somebody that might have had a rocky past, even if it wasn't with you? Are you willing to give them a second chance and find out data, not just about their past, but data about who they can be? And I know when it comes to exploring people, Monica said nope. When it comes to, okay, hold on. Okay, when it comes to dating, we have to date for the future. And this is the problem. Sometimes when we date for the future, it's unfortunate, but sometimes people speak a good game, they exist in a good game, but they don't. They're when it comes to playing the actual game, they're not good in the game because they were great in practice, but when it came to the buzzer beater, they weren't there. So when it comes to the dating score, when you're going for that data big, I'm on Facebook Live right now. Never mind. Okay. When it comes to that, that yes, people are creatures of habit, and some of the things that people have done in their past will, honestly, the credit score is a great reflection and probably the truth about who they've been. But when you're dating somebody, it's like, well, are they showing signs that they can make consistent payments? Are they showing signs that their heart is in the right place? Are they showing signs that they are promising, but not just signs, but actions? Because again, we can speak. It's much easier to speak something than to do it. If I say I want to make $1 million, it's really easy to say I want to make $1 million. It's much more difficult to actually collect those funds. So when you're dating and you're getting this data, don't just get the data on what has been. Get the data on what could be. Um, Monica says if you owe $12,000 in back taxes on or child support, that affects our future. I'm good. Okay, that is very true. And I think there may be these moments where, oh, that's a great one. There may be these moments where you have to make a decision for the future based on what's realistic. Now, and this is not to kick anybody, but if you do have somebody that has consistently shown that they can't provide and do for their children, then you may start looking at that data score, that dating score, and be like, well, if we have children, what can I expect with our children if you don't even take care of your own children? Now, there are a lot of scenarios that are like this that we may have to consider when you're dating. But also beyond considering the past, you do have to put some insight into the future because yes, people made mistakes. Now, I know of situations where people are taking care of their current children, but not taking care of their past children. And it's unfortunate. It's not fair. Thanks, Didi. And and you have to take each situation as it comes. But when you're dating, you are collecting data. You're collecting data on who this person has become. Like, have they been reformed? Are they willing to take action? And then in that dating time, if they're not showing action and showing it consistently, then the score that you've already internally given them, uh, it may be true. And this is a big thing. Before you get overly connected to somebody emotionally and physically, you have to take time to really know who they are, know their heart, know their mannerisms. Because like there are people, and this still is the data dating. If you okay, so if you see signs, let's say you have current children and you see signs in your children that you don't like because of it looks like the other a parent, you have to realize that that child is 50% you. And it's a blend of those things. So when you are choosing to have children with people, and when you're dating and you are not married to this person, or you're dating and you choose to marry this person, whichever the case, you have to take wise counsel. You have to make sure Aaron said, don't don't date a fixer upper. Date someone that actually brings something to the table. All right, I think y'all have spoken. So what I'm saying, oh, Jesus. All right, so okay, this is the question though. What what is too much in your own opinion? What is too much of a fixer upper? Um, and the challenge with this whole conversation, okay, for me personally, and anybody that I would date, I got to be honest. I'm gonna look at what your life has been and what you're saying, and I'm gonna have some questions. And so I think there's this accountability that the end standard that says if you are consistently showing habits and behaviors of someone that doesn't look like I want my future to look like, then I have to make some changes. It is one that value you. I wholeheartedly believe that people should add value, but and honestly, y'all are talking the same language that I am. So I'm saying in the data digging, you have to be able, not data digging, the data dating. Data digging is a school thing. But in the data dating, you have to be able to see the promise in them. You have to be able to pray for them. You have to be able to see what they bring to the table. Now, at the same time, you have to be careful of how you judge them for their past. All right, let me get to some of these comments because I got like 3 minutes and I'm gonna let y'all go. Monica says exactly what you're saying and what is what is there's a letter or a word missing there. Aaron says if they can't take care of themselves, ooh, then they'll never be able to take care of anybody else. That's some valid stuff. Like if they can't, what you say?
That's real.
If they can't take care of themselves, they can't take care of nobody else. Now, and so, but I think even with all of this is that thought that like when you're dating, you're not just talking to somebody every day. You're not just living in this la la land. You're saying, hey, does this person add value to me? Does this person have the quality? Now, nobody's going to be perfect, so you can't like you can't try to date the black card. You can't try to be like, well, I'm gonna find this person that has the 800 credit score that has never missed a payment on anything that they are this and this. Like you won't find the black card of people of personality, but you can find somebody that adds value to you. And when they add value to you and they do it consistently, that's a great sign that that's somebody worth being with. All right, let me get to these comments real quick. Oh, hold on. Monica says, no, I'm saying what you tell me has to line up with what reality is. Okay. James says, what if they show all the right qualifications that you were looking for in the beginning as a front, but after getting you the true man?
There's always signs.
Like, yo, there's always signs.
Always.
Hopefully that clap wasn't too loud. There are always signs. And I think everybody on here, whether you're married now or not, you saw the signs at the beginning, but some desire in you that wanted to date this person in spite of kept you pushing. Again, people aren't perfect, but there are signs, and when you're dating, because you know that you're getting data, you're careful of certain things. You are paying attention very closely to inconsistencies because it's hard for people to hide for too long, and that's why you also should probably have a I don't want to say a dating plan, but you should know what you want. You should know what you expect, and you should know um you should have some. You gotta, I don't know, you gotta figure out how to get into these, understand the signs, because there's like if the person is always getting upset at a certain time and they got buttons that are easily triggered and they energy goes a certain way, you got to be like, okay, and you got to be able to communicate. You be like, okay, yesterday when you said this, you said it in this way, and that kind of concerned me. Can you look back at that? You got to be able to look at what's going on. Um, Aaron said, "Oh no, Aaron, yeah, you can't drag someone else to success. It's a walk together thing. Woo! You can't drag nobody." Also, last comment: equal values, value system are extremely strong, and I honestly think that when we sometimes when we go into to relationships, sometimes I think, or even the dating or whatever you want to call it, I think sometimes we go in with trying to figure out what we don't want versus what we do want, and that can change your perspective. It's like you're just looking for, okay, well, I don't like this, and because of whatever hurts, because of whatever experiences you have, you're looking and you're like, well, I know what I don't want, but do you know what you do want? Do you know what your value system is? Do you know your value? Because if you don't know your value, you will tend to accept some things that are less than ideal for where you're going. And again, all of this is getting data. And it's not getting data by like having a questionnaire that says, have you ever lied on a job application? Have you ever been fired from it? It's like allow the data to be organic, but know that, hey, I ain't married to you yet, so I got some questions. And people can only answer to the best of their ability, but you got to be careful. All right, Monica says James Trimble. That's why dating takes time. Can't pretend forever, ever. Yeah, like, and you can't rush. You definitely can't rush, because if you rush, you will miss the boat. So true. Just to keep it real from the jump. I need to know your plans. If you have a financial issues, you should already. Now, a question for you: if somebody does have financial issues, is that a trigger for you? Or and then for you that are married, when you were dating, were finances something that you heavily considered, or was it just like, what was it about the finances that might have affected you, or did it affect you at all? Um, because I know for me, when it comes to finances, I'm more careful now in this season of my life with finances because of my goals. So when we talked about looking forward, and with your data, you're looking forward. If you're not effectively able to manage your finances, it does hinder some of the things that we can do. And if we're trying to grow together, like Aaron said earlier, he said you can't drag you can't drag someone else to success. If you're dating and you know your end game is to make a certain amount of money, to live a certain lifestyle, but this person is showing behaviors that are like, wait, okay, if this is how you're doing, we're not going to be able to make it in this amount of time. And at the end of the day, this is supposed to be forever. So if you're going to spend your life uh, forever with somebody that makes poor decisions on things that you need, like if you need your finances to be great because you know that you want to travel, you know what you want to do, and they're going out to get never mind. There's certain stuff I can't say, but yeah. So so financial decisions. Monica says there has to be a plan. I work hard to fix mine, so I can't take chances. And I think that when you improve yourself and become more confident in you and more loving of you, I think it really changes what your expectations are of another person. And realistically, we can't put all of our expectations on other people, but we can put a standard. Oh wow, we can put a standard in the atmosphere but we can't force anybody to meet this standard. And when they don't meet the standard, we can't make excuses for them not meeting the standard, because sometimes we find ourselves being like, okay, well, I can help them through this, I can get them to this place, I can do this. uh Naya says yes, most definitely it does. I There's the delay, so I'm trying to remember what that comment might have been too. But yeah, like, you can have a standard and they can choose to live up to that standard. But even this is the thing for me, sometimes when people are trying to live up to your standard, they are they are sometimes not being true to themselves. And then I think there's a quote that says, whatever you have to do to get her, you have to do to keep her, which is true. But some of these people are doing it to get you, and then once they get your trust, once they get your love, they're like falling by the wayside. And James mentioned it earlier. Um, so I think you have to continue to guard your heart. You have to be patient in the process, and you have to do the data dating. You have to get information, not a questionnaire. Let it happen organically. Let the questions flow. Because when you try to force the conversation, when you try to force the data, it feels like an interview, though it is. It feels like an interview instead of feels like dating. It feels like getting to know one another. And yeah, what are y'all? So on here, who's married, who's dating, who's just being themselves. Um, and if y'all have any questions for me, I'm actually going to take 4 more minutes. I have something to do at 1, and I don't really want to do it. So I kind of want to stay here with y'all for 15 plus minutes, but I think they'll come looking for me, trying to figure out where I'm at. So what are your questions, your opinions, your thoughts on dating, your challenges? Just share. I'm just here to talk. I'm here to listen to y'all. I'm here to hang out for a few. But yeah, dating is difficult if you make it difficult. Dating can be a great thing if you. I think some for a lot of people, once you've been hurt enough and start to love and heal, once you've been hurt enough and heal enough, your dating situation just becomes very different. You become to approach dating as like okay, so this is how I approach dating when I do date, which isn't a very common thing for me. But when I start dating, my thought is, yo, I've been really cool single, and if we can't click, I, I'm if we ain't gonna click, I'm good. Like I'm perfectly okay being single. But if we are gonna click and we do have some things in common and we do have some drive, I'm like, yo, I'm rolling with you. But the moment I feel like, no, we ain't clicking, and then when I say that, I mean, for if it's a new thing and it's not clicking from the jump and it feels forced, I'm like, okay, this ain't really what that is. But if I'm in a situation where it clicks, I'm gonna continue to data date, get information, and try to make it the greatest that it can be. Oh, and yeah. So when it comes to that hurt and healing, when once you've healed from some hurt, you start to approach it from a standpoint of like, I can't go back to what I came from, so I have to make sure that not that I have a wall, but I have to make sure that I'm using wisdom in my dating, so that I don't fall into the traps of my patterns. Because sometimes we can fall into the trap of our patterns because we're so used to embracing this a certain way, or we're so used to connecting a certain way, and don't fall into the trap of your patterns. Fall into the desires of your future. So when you're dealing with the relationship, it's like, well, what does our future look like? How can we continue to date? How can we continue to grow? How can we have enough separate lives, or effective enough separate lives to where when we come together, we still have something to connect about. We still have stuff to share. We still have, we have our own days, because sometimes when you don't have nothing to talk about, it's because you ain't doing nothing worth talking about. But when you have something to talk about, you can dig for data and get information, and it doesn't feel like an interview. And yes, that's all I got for y'all guys. And I'll be on tomorrow. I'm gonna do tomorrow and Friday. I'm gonna be talking about. I'm not gonna tell the topic, but I'm going to be talking about some biblical principles that has gotten me so excited about everything that I do that it sometimes gets hard to sleep, because I'm like, oh man, I'm a winner. I can do this. So that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for hanging out, and I shall talk to y'all tomorrow.